That Brazil isn't a powerhouse is unexpected. Brazil is undoubtedly Latin America's regional power and a modestly sized one, but it has the potential to be worldwide. Brazil really is like a tropical America. Both are small New World countries. They both possess enormous numbers of farms and an absurd quantity of land. Because of its size and position, the United States has been able to exert influence over every nation on the planet. And is Brazil ever going to be the nation of the future? Watch the video till the end to find out. Subscribe to our channel as well for more of these videos. Brazil's topography, which gave rise to it in the first place, is its first fatal defect. The Amazon River does, however, supply a ton of fresh water, enabling numerous indigenous communities and some small settlements like Manaus. Brazil's escarpment is the second feature, a great escarpment indeed. An escarpment is simply the long and tall cliffs that form the margin of a plateau. This effectively turns the majority of Brazil's interior into an island far from the country's coast. Construction of railways, roads, or any other access points to Brazil's agriculture interior is far more challenging. Brazil, the longest country in the world from north to south, is essentially Chile 2.0 because it lacks the technology necessary to overcome its cliffs. Brazil's expansion was probably decades delayed by the escarpment. The tropical issue is another factor. Tropical regions will never see faster growth than temperate regions. Since there must be a seasonal deadline for crops, they lack a winter to freeze bugs and foster cooperation among humans. B, agriculture is the main industry in tropical climates. Food production there is simply too simple. Because so many people work in agriculture, tropical regions always end up being the world's breadbasket, yet they haven't actually industrialized yet. Because of this, Brazil was settled, and this settlement was Brazil's second fatal fault. The colonization of Brazil left its mark on contemporary life. The Portuguese began invading what is now Brazil at the beginning of the 1500s. There were roughly 2 million native Brazilians at the time. There were no towns or other forms of infrastructure, in contrast to Mesoamerica and Andean civilizations. Native Brazilians were largely tribal and lived in small villages. They were not a part of a single empire. In reality, Brazil served primarily as a pit stop for the Portuguese as they traveled between their conquests in the Indian and African seas. By using people trafficking, Portugal brought settlers from other places than Portugal. The Portuguese community was and remains small. A continent of people could never contain them. That is the colonization's first error. The Portuguese sent their rich to manage production in small cities, while the British sent their impoverished to the American countryside. Since the wealthy never shared their riches, there's now extreme wealth disparity, which is among the worst on the planet. Even though they had lavish estates to live in and a lot of money, how much infrastructure was actually developed with private funding? Nearly none. Tons are used in some kind of industry the majority of the time. Sugar was first found by the Europeans, and Brazil quickly became a hub for agriculture. The weather was ideal for growing sugarcane. Thus, the Portuguese imported African slaves like many other European colonies did. South and West Africa supplied anywhere between 6 and 10 million slaves to the American colonies, greater than the USA by about 18 to 30 times. Slavery wasn't abolished until 1888, the latest nation in the Western Hemisphere to do so, because the colonists placed such a high value on it. Furthermore, the Portuguese, and really everyone else, continued to enslave indigenous peoples of the Americas, despite Pope Paul III's papal edict prohibiting it. The Brazilian bandeiras forced natives they had abducted to labor in newly discovered gold mines or sugar factories. Numerous problems were brought on by the absurd amount of slavery. Increased income disparity, reliance on agriculture, and enslaved people in large portions of the Northeast. Outside of the tropical regions, most of Brazil's wealth is centered in the Southeast region. The wealthy Portuguese newcomers' emphasis on agriculture output ruined the region's destiny. Given its long agricultural history, it is not surprising that Brazil is today a major producer of raw materials. It has the ideal land for it. Brazil is the nation of the future, just as it was in the 1900s and will be in another 20. Brazil could be in trouble due to its underwhelming industry, demographic implosion, and inadequate safety net. Who knows though? Brazil ought to have always been a superpower. Perhaps it will do so soon. That's all for this video. Please hit the subscribe, share, and thumbs up buttons if you liked this video. See you next time.